Welcome back, everybody. We're actually here again with Miss Rebecca Gross, and last time we had actually experienced a couple of technical difficulties, so we're going to revisit Rebecca Gross's presentation. So you have an interview, preparation,
Hello?
and follow-up. Yes, can you hear me okay? We've started recording. We're on air right now, so hopefully you can hear me okay. If we do continue to experience further technical difficulties, we'll have Rebecca record the presentation and we'll upload that to our website. So just another reintroduction of who Rebecca is. Ms. Rebecca Gross is the Executive Director and Founder of Student Driven Solutions. She's also an alum of Georgetown University, and she's doing amazing work in Malawi with her organization and with schools in Malawi. So I'll let Rebecca take over from here. Hopefully she's connected and can hear me okay. Rebecca, you can get started and switch the slides when you're ready. Great, I think you're connected well right now. I can hear
Great, I
you.
think well right now.
Started.
Okay. Mentorship for having me today. I appreciate of you about my journey professionally and also about preparing for interviews. So the topic today is about interviews, how to prepare, how to perform well, and what you should do when following up. And my name is Rebecca Gross. I'm the Executive Director and Founder of Student Driven Solutions. I will share more about that in the coming slides. A little bit of background about me. Like I said, I'm the founder and Executive Director of a nonprofit organization called I received a bachelor's degree in studies, and while living in Malawi, I have also UNC project conducting research and have served as a global health core fellow with the Ministry of Health. So just a little bit about myself before we dive into the details of interviews. Um, Basically, my job became an organization in Malawi. I wasn't planned. I had no idea I'd be doing this, but I continued to follow. I found interesting, and I took opportunities that really spoke to me, that seemed meaningful, and that's what led me to be here today. So I'll tell you more in detail, but these are just some pictures to share from me when I was in high school through to Georgetown when I graduated. And now this is Student Driven Solutions, and these are our staff members. So the organization is entirely Malawian, except for myself. And that's something that I find very important, that it's Malawian led. And because it will help for the sustainability of the organization to see it be able to move forward within the country. So to share more, what did I do that led me to today? In high school, I volunteered at a children's center in Botswana, and that experience really made me want to learn more about the continent of Africa. I had never before traveled like that. I had only traveled for small trips with my family, and I really didn't see much of the world in these trips. And so to see that there's lots of different cultures, and I'm excited the idea of other people living and being able to contribute what I could in terms of better for people. Shortly after, I entered college and I studied economics and African studies. And really, to explain it, it's just because I found them interesting. And so I think that's something important to say, because, I should pick a major that will get me a job in the future. And that's important. But for me, I just chose to study something because I knew if I was passionate about it, I would do better in school. My grades would ultimately be higher. And at the end of the day, you really are there to learn, and you're in college for your own personal growth. So it's important not to get bogged down by what other people are doing or what other people are saying, but to focus on what you think you want and what future you want for yourself, and follow the path that gets you there. And then during college, I sought out opportunities to travel to Africa and build my experience and knowledge of working on the continent. So I knew that I wanted to work abroad, and I had an interest in sub-Saharan Africa. So I would expect to pursue a career in that field. And so I traveled to Madagascar, where I studied health. I went to Tanzania in a rural area, a rural community, and I also studied abroad in Belgium, which was really unrelated. I just wanted to practice my French, so that's why I chose. And now, okay, so after I graduated, I knew that finding a job in sub-Saharan Africa might be difficult from the U.S. So I took it to Malawi to get more. I think this is another thing we're going to, it's a matter of available and going for it. And so I interviewed for this internship, but you need to just go for what you want, but something that will lead it step by step. The internship, I managed to get a job. From there, I got a fellowship still in Malawi, and then I started the organization Student Driven Solutions. And again, all of it happened in Malawi, and I never would have expected anything to happen. And it's simply because I knew that I wanted to do this. I wanted to work abroad, and I took the internship to get myself started. So it's important just to see each step as going towards the path you want to reach, and to be confident in your decisions. And ultimately, that's what matters most. And so that's me, happy on some mountain somewhere in Malawi, which is just pretty normal for me now. So what's it like to be a founder? As the founder of Student Driven Solutions, I'm working in a country that is not my home. And so every day brings something that's new and unexpected. I said that some days are unbelievably inspiring and motivate me to work harder. Other days, I just want to go home and take a nap. So it really all depends. And the most important thing I've learned is endurance and resilience when working towards your goals. And I can't stress that enough, because ultimately the choice I made to start this organization, at the time I had no idea what it would take. I really didn't know about continuing to work towards your vision, and what is the goal that you set when you started the organization, and how do you overcome challenges to stay focused. That's for anything. You don't need to be a founder to have challenges or to overcome them. But in life, it's about learning to take things as they come and try and process the information and figure out how you can solve it and how you can move forward. And not everything has a solution. So sometimes it's about just accepting things when they don't work out and moving forward. And I've learned a whole lot about that, especially being in a country that's not my home. There's a lot of experiences I wouldn't expect that I would have, and they challenge me, but it makes me a stronger leader, and it's making me a better director of this organization. So I think it's an important lesson to continue to practice, and it's one that you learn through time and not necessarily because someone's told you. So again, I think it's important to keep in mind this lesson about endurance and resilience, but I can't teach it to you. I think you'll learn it by practicing the skills. All right, so now we're going to enjoy and I just wanted to give you a bit of background about myself before we really go into details. Are difficult. Some people are more comfortable talking in front of crowds than others. It can make you really nervous, make you, start to sweat or start to stutter, and that's totally normal. And I think everyone goes through a certain level of that. Natural thing to do. Because you're going in, they're asking you loads of questions. It's not really a conversation. It's more like they're probing you for answers. And that's awkward because normally when you interact with people, it's sort of a mutual exchange. And interviews tend to not. So it's totally normal to be nervous about it. And I think I have a few tips as to how you can prepare in advance and how you can feel more comfortable. So just a few things in interview. One of the most important things is to prepare. And if you are prepared, then you'll feel more comfortable when you go in. You'll become more naturally. You need to do interviewing. What do they do? What is their mission? Why are they entail good at that role? Why do you stand out? So you start to answer these questions for yourself, and you might even want to write them or practice them in front of the mirror so that you know your answers. And then when they ask you the question in the interview, you won't be as nervous because you've prepared for it. It's like taking a test. When you study for a test, you're less nervous when you walk in to take the test. So definitely prepare and practice. As for me, when people come in for an interview and I'm interviewing them, one of the things I hate most is when they have no idea what organization they're interviewing for. People come in and they're very ready to tell you everything that's great about them. But when you ask them why they want the job, they can't answer the question. And for me, I'm looking for someone to work with me and really believe in the organization they're joining. So if you don't know anything about the organization, then I'm not going to hire you. And so I think it's very, very important to remember you're supposed to highlight yourself, but you also have to be very aware of why you would be a good fit to work with that organization and why you believe in what they do. Why do you want to go to that certain school? Why do you want to work for this certain company? And the reason has to be because of your motivations and because of what they do. It's important to know exactly what they do and what matters to them as employers. Secondly is confidence. And I think confidence comes with the preparation and practice. Over time, you'll become more used to these kinds of things. But if you can practice confidence in your daily life by speaking in a crowd, speaking in front of people, going to a party where you don't know many people and introducing yourself to someone, practice the seed in an interview to develop your confidence. Another thing is be concise. A lot of times people talk and talk and talk and talk, and you get bored. You don't want to listen to them anymore because you're just so bored. And so I think it's important when they ask you a question, take a break, take a moment to breathe, think it through, and then answer in the most concise and clear way you can. You don't want to go talking on and on and on, and then the person just stops listening. So again, be clear. Another thing is be authentic, because you don't want to be this person. It'll be very obvious that you're not being yourself. You're not being natural. To put on a show, first of all, you're probably not, you'll never feel comfortable in the office or real life. And try and relax. They're people. Employers are people. They're just trying to get to know you. They just want a right fit. They're not trying to be mean. They're not trying to be for, and I genuinely just want to get to know if they would be good for us. We're looking for someone to work with us. They want the job. It's just a matter of trying to see out or not. Is it a good fit? I think this should be obvious for some people, but make eye contact. When you get nervous, you tend to look around, look all over the place. So try and remember to make eye contact, to smile, to look engaged, to be happy. So that's, again, use your voice to show energy and enthusiasm, especially with phone interviews, because you don't have those cues of being in person. It's important to use your voice to show that you're happy and excited and you want to be having this interview. Definitely always prepare a question for the interviewer. And when you're preparing a question, don't prepare a question that you can easily find on a question otherwise couldn't be answered. So, because it's a little bit weird when someone asks you a simple question like, oh, when does this job start? It's like, okay, you should ask something that maybe you can't find the information to, or is a little bit more in depth. Really shows that you're curious about the company, the school, the organization. Really shows that you want to know more about them. And then lastly, it's a good thing to follow up and inform your references. So follow up with them right after the interview. That same day, you can send an email to whoever interviewed you, just saying thank you for the time, really appreciate it, look forward to hearing from them. Don't ask them anything about how the interview went, how you can do better. Don't ask them anything about when you'll find out. Just say thank you. I've had people who have sent me emails like a week later being like, when am I going to find out if I got the job? And that I find very annoying, because if I was ready to tell you, I would have told you. So don't interview itself about how it went or about anything. And inform your references so that they know that someone might be contacting them. And also, it's a good thing to tell your references where you interviewed so that they can do a little bit of background research so that they're prepared to give the type of information that someone might need. References a little blurb about where you applied, what they're looking for, because a better understanding of what we're calling them. The next, so then not want to do. Like I said, it's kind of the opposite that you should do. So I said we can try not sort of doing it right now when we're talking, distract someone from what you're really saying. Don't walk away with something you've left unsaid. I think a lot of times when we leave an interview, we think, oh, I really wish I got a chance to say this. I really wish I could have said this about XYZ. It's okay. At the very end of the interview, you can say, if you don't mind, may I take a moment just to share with you something I feel would be helpful for you when you're reviewing my application. And then you can say a bit better walking away, and it might also strengthen their view of you, and it could really help because they might not have thought to ask you that question. Definitely don't walk away without asking a good question. Again, the hint is not something you can find the answer to on their website. Have a very good question, something that you clearly thought about, something that and then just the general find elsewhere. Don't dress inappropriately. the context is important. Think about where you're interviewing and dress for what they're looking for. Try not to fidget in your seat around. If you need to, you can try and maybe like put a paper clip in your hand and play with it, or different advance so that you can. What I won't move around too much is that hands, as that kind of helps because I'm still moving around, but it looks less distracting in a way because it's like you're trying to explain something. It's not just sort of random. Interperson in remember for wherever they are. We've been sweating. We've had trouble speaking. Everybody has had all perfect interviews. Everybody has been rejected. And so just remember that they're not just trying to get to know you. So take your talk about so horrible. You can really experiences. Sometimes that can be fun to say, it can be kind of fun. So if you're really nervous about that job or you really want to go to that school, then try and use that desire to prove to them why it matters so much to you that you are a strong candidate. Into action to achieve that you get. And so try and use those nerves, but to show them so much to you. Because without that, you're going to walk in way more nervous than you need to be. All right, just to finish off, I have some links or people networks that might be helpful. Definitely sign up for LinkedIn if you haven't already. You can use LinkedIn to find out who knows who. So who do you know? It's useful for if you're interviewing somewhere, you can get some tips. So for example, if you want to go to a certain college and you have an interview, you can find if you know anyone at that college or if a friend of yours knows anyone at that college, and then they can give you advice on what their interview was like, the kinds of questions they asked, how they prepared. So it's a really useful tool. This is web pages for top universities, and take a look at the free resources they offer on preparation. Universities have a lot of career services because, when people need youth as well. Things is definitely try and talk into the interview process and learn what the employer or school is looking for in a candidate. So if there's someone who's already where you're looking to work, it's really useful to see if they place. What are they trying to do? Where have they been struggling? So you can find out, for example, if you find out that a company is having trouble, it'd be really great to highlight your experiences in marketing, even if they don't ask about it, because it's clearly something that's on their mind. Don't be afraid to request an informational interview with someone who works at a place where you want to work. So an informational interview it's not exactly an interview. There's not a specific job you're applying for. It's mostly just to get to know the space and see what's available and try and make connections with people for the future. And so it's a good time to ask some questions you might have if you're considering entering a certain field. So for me, I'm in international development, and I know that I will probably need to go to graduate school to get further in my career. So I've talked to a lot of people who are about 5 years older than me, and I've asked them questions about their path, chose to do, why they chose that, whether or not they felt it was necessary for them. Did it really boost their career? Has it helped them? And that's really helped guide me to make my decisions. And so it's a helpful thing to do. But a bit unrelated as well is to set personal goals and notes. I think it's always useful to say, well, ultimately, I want to be doing this in my career. And you can work towards it slowly, by taking different steps, by going first to your college, doing a major that will work for that, opportunities, internships, and over time you'll get to the path that you're looking for. And try to work, obviously, don't really bring you forward. Some missteps you take bring you to where you don't always know what's going to work out, what's not going to work out, and how. Seek out mentors, advisors, and friends who support your goals. The people you are around can either make it much easier or much harder to achieve what you want. Definitely, I have friends that really support what I'm doing here in Malawi, and that support makes it so much easier for me to be doing the work because I have a place where I can talk openly, get guidance, and I don't have someone saying, oh, just stop doing it, it's not working out. And so it's really good to have positive role models, people who really support you, and that's, you think you can't do without that. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I know overachievers often don't. They think they can do it all, they can achieve it all, especially when you're in school. I think in school, a lot of assignments are independent. There's not a lot of relying on a team. And so you forget that you can ask others for help and that it's okay and it's not considered cheating or being not good enough. Use the time to figure out what you enjoy. What are you good at? What makes you excited? I think this one's funny, but like sometimes if I'm working on something that I really find I'm engaged in, then I can like look up 2 hours later, realize I haven't eaten anything, I really have to pee, and I've just been like so focused on this one thing. And I think that's where you're passionate, when you're so focused on something that you don't even think like, oh, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I need to go here, I need to go there. You're not distracted, you're so focused. That's a really great thing to tap into and to keep working towards. And also believe that you'll get there, even if it doesn't always seem like it. There have been so many times when running student solutions that I figured we would fail. We don't have the fundraising money. We don't have the team. It's not working out. But you keep pushing on, always working out like I want it, moving forward. Some concluding remarks. Interviews and working towards your goals is not always easy, but with time you'll feel more comfortable. And the only way to get there is to keep taking opportunities to practice these skills. So if you're really party where you don't know that many people and introduce yourself, tell them something about you. Ask a mentor to practice in front of the mirror. These are just some. They say time you share when talking. You can ask a friend to help remind you about that next time. Or if you speak too quickly when you're nervous, practice slowing down. And you can even record yourself so that you can listen and learn. And And so that's all from me. Unless you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. My email is listed. I also have Skype because I'm based in Malawi. The best way to reach me is email or Skype, and know that 6 hours I get back to you right away. But that's me. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
The final slide.
Yes. Actually, it's missing the picture. It's okay. So I appreciate you taking the time to connect with us again today, Rebecca. Just a couple of takeaway points that you mentioned was definitely grow your network, and through your network, seek out your mentors, your advisors, because they can help you with different opportunities or learning experiences that you may not otherwise have. So I think those are some very great words. And we at Speak Mentorship, we provide that network, so we're hoping that people will grow with us as well. And again, Rebecca, actually, I'll go back to the last slide if you can.
Sure.
Yep, so it held up pretty well, but just towards the end, what Rebecca was saying is that the best way to reach her is through her email address. So you can use your email, you can use the email listed to reach out to her. Great. We'll be putting this on our website, Rebecca, and I appreciate, again, taking the time out. I know the connection isn't that great, but we heard a great bit of it, so it was informative.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.